What's up guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go through an overview of a couple of modifications that I have done to my program that I think are worthwhile talking. I don't hear many people talk about it, so let's give it a shot. I'm going to try to be as concise as possible and to give you as useful of information as possible. So without further delay, let's begin. The first thing I want to mention is, of course, I do my 6 times a week upper row arm split, and I do my upper days at home. Then I do my arm days. I can choose between training at home or going to the gym. And for my row days, I have to go to the gym mandatory. Thing is, I added an extra option, and I'm going to talk about this in a second. I'm going to tell you first that I watched that Mike Israetel Alpha Destiny collab, in which Mike gives you the cue of slowing down the eccentric, protracting at the bottom, pausing at the bottom, and then getting into the next eccentric as fast as possible. And I found it really interesting. I tried it myself, and I found out a couple of very good things. The first thing is that I didn't need as many sets as before, because that technique allows for maximum stretch on each set, so you need less sets overall, because more stretch, more stimulus. And in my row days, I would usually do 8 sets of unsupported rows. 4 heavy or 3 heavy, and then the rest would be within a strict fashion. Thing is, after doing it this way, I found out that I didn't need that many sets, and I went down to 3 to 4 unsupported row variations. And to fill in the rest, I would do supported rows like Helms rows or cable rows. Thing is, one day I found the Smith machine was available, and I tried doing inverted rows off of that bitch, and I found out it was stimulatory as fuck. Inverted rows, in my opinion, are the best supported row variation that is. I don't think you can argue that. I got a massive trap stretch, massive rear delt dumps, and also my teres major got absolutely cooked. So I basically fell in love with inverted rows again, right? And I started doing them in my session regularly. So I would do 4 sets of unsupported rows, and then I would do 4 sets of inverted rows. And then it hit me. I was like, okay, so I go to the gym to do stuff that I could do at home with the exception of unsupported rows. Well, why not have an optional day in case I can't go to the gym, or I find it very awkward to go to the gym on that specific day, because I would get basically the same stimulation outside of the erectors. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So what I ended up doing is that I added an option of just training at home if I want to, or if I'm forced to train my traps, my rear delts, my teres major, my neck, and my hammer curls. So that's the first modification. Also, I removed back work from my arm days. Overall back volume has decreased from 30 sets to 24, 25 sets approximately. I think a little bit even lower. So yeah, that's one of the first changes, and it was a radical one indeed. So really recommend you trying it out, the Mike Israetel method. I think it works wonders. Of course, we have the mandatory motorbike interruption. I want some of you in the comments to count how many we can get. So that doesn't count. That one doesn't count. So let's just start off with the first upper day. The first thing I want to mention is the one arm chin up. I open up my sessions with one arm chin up, finger assisted, which is very, very good in my opinion. It is a unilateral movement that works the arms tremendously. It has the weighted pull up effect of being high intensity, so you go for low reps. And I think that I like the most is that it gives you a massive lat stretch, but it's basically, it allows you to make it even, right? You can even out the lat stimulus, so then that carries over onto your following exercises that are bilateral and prevents any type of imbalance. I do 2 to 3 sets of 3 to 6 on each side. Then I have the option of, instead of doing that, I can do my there we go, the second motorbike. There we go. Then we have, as an option, as a rotation, we have the super wide grip chest to bar pull-up. This movement is very, very, very stimulatory. It allows you to train your whole back, basically the rear delts, the traps, the mid back. And overall, the lats, I think that they are the thing that gets the most stimulus. and they are really good movement, really high stimulus to fatigue ratio, and on top of that, that extended range of motion makes it very, very fucking difficult. So I really recommend you trying it out. If you think that bodyweight pull-ups are easy, you're full of shit, try this variation out. The super wide grip allows you to train your whole back, and the chest to bar allows you to make the movement as hard as humanly possible. You pair that up with full RTO push-ups as usual, or, and here's another movement that I have recently reintroduced, ring dips. I stopped doing ring dips because they would hurt my sternum, but I started to do a slight modification of it, in which I call sinking the scapula. So with regular dips, people keep the scapula retracted and they go up, and they go down, and then they go up, while keeping the scapula retracted throughout the whole movement, right? What I have found with ring dips is that what you want to do is you want to protract at the top, right? Either having the rings turned out or having them in a neutral position. You protract, and then as you go down, you allow your scapula to progressively retract as you go down, and then you overstretch, right? And you drive the scapula back, you overstretch the chest, you pause for a couple of seconds, I would recommend 3 to 5, with a slow eccentric, and then you go up as fast as possible and you protract at the top, and then you reset and keep doing reps like that. That has allowed me to basically get a lot of stimulus for very little sets, and also get stimulus throughout my pressing muscles. So not only the lower chest, not only the upper chest, is the whole thing. Chest, shoulders, and triceps, everything is wrecked. You could also, sorry for that, you could also try doing Bulgarian dips, which I also do, and I really like them, but ring dips are better for me because I want big fucking arms. So that's the movement. Then we move on to the second superset, which is going to be wide grip chest to bar pull-ups into a mechanical drop set with wide grip pull-ups. Nothing too much to talk about here. We start off with a high range of motion, high stimulus to fatigue. Then once we fail, we move on to the regular variation. And that allows us to accumulate a high amount of quality volume, high amount of effective reps. I want to achieve a total of 6 to 15 of both of those reps combined. So let's say I get, like, for example, 5 chest to bar, and then I get 5 wide grip pull-ups. That would be 10 in total. I want to be in the 6 to 15 range. Then, if I did my full RTO push-ups first, I can now do my ring dips, or if I chose the ring dips before, I now do chest shredder push-ups. Chest shredder push-ups are basically a barrel press with the rings. You basically do a fly motion, you really let it stretch, you sink as much as you can, you pause for a couple of seconds, like again 3 to 5, and then as you go up, you want to align the elbow path with the upper chest fibers. That's basically it, not that complicated. You want to keep your rings turned out at the bottom to protect the shoulders, but that's basically it. You can also do it with a neutral grip. Then we have the third motorbike. Let's go, baby. Now we move on to the third superset, which is going to be ring pike push-ups or deficit handstand push-ups, thanks to Croissant, which he gave me a lot of equipment. He's a real one. He's the homie, and I'm really thankful for that. Thanks, man. He basically gave me parallettes, and now allows me to, he gave me a parallette, a dip station, dip/pull-up station, a rack, and a barbell and dumbbells with 2 10-kilogram plates. He's very he's a very good person, basically. Outside of that, he gave me the parallettes to do my deficit handstand push-ups, which they are brutal, and I really, really like them. So that's the first movement. I also can do ring pike push-ups if I want to. It is just to hit the shoulders at the end, because right now I'm prioritizing the chesticles. Then I can pair that up with band extensions. The way I do them right now is I have a ring, right? One of my gymnastic rings, the wood ones. I put a band through it. Then I grab the extremes of the band and I put it on my heel. Then I grab it like this and do my extensions like that. Cue I can give you to get an even better long head activation is that instead of thinking about just extending your arm, think of extending in an arc, right? Like this. Don't think about extending like this. Think about extending like this, right? Like that. like a more of a pullover motion, if that makes sense. So that allows me to get a better mind-muscle connection with the long head. Take it or leave it. Then for my biceps, I either do one-arm ring curls, which they're goated, or band curls with the rings. With the extension rings, I did the extensions, I do my curls. That's basically it. Then we move on to the first row day. Basically, there's not a lot of difference. I now do my barbell hinge row, which is also featured in that Alex and Renaissance periodization video. Then I don't drop set, I cluster set, if you will, or I giant set into a shrug, like strict shrugs, then cheated shrugs, and then I maintain for time as many reps as possible. Nothing too much to talk about here. It's just the beginning. I like to go low in 6 to 8 rep range to really get a nasty stretch. I pair that up with hammer curls in the 6 to 8. I'm starting to realize that curls should be done both in high reps and in low reps. I really don't like going high reps, so I usually just gravitate towards low reps in general. Most of it is going to be low rep, just so you know. Then the next superset is going to be either strict barbell rows, which I hardly ever do, and inverted rows. This is going to be 3 to 4 sets of a total of 6 to 15 reps. This means that I can rest pause. So I want to achieve at least, again, 6 to 15 via rest pause. I pair that up with neck curls and neck extensions, nothing too crazy to say here, 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 15, and then I have my leg raises, as many reps as possible. You have to train your abs. A little bit of ab training goes a long way. So that's for the rowing day. Then for my gym arm day, this is going to get a little bit spicy. I start off with heavy B-bar pushdowns. Well, heavy is 6 to 10, 3 to 5 sets of B-bar pushdowns. I like them way more, and I think that these are the ultimate pushdown variation. They are way more stable. They allow you to use way more weight. They are way more grindable. They are way more comfortable on the wrist, and also they are way easier to set up for extensions, which I'm going to talk in a second. So some people might argue you get less of a stretch in the long head, but I would say, why would you want to be overly focused on stretching the long head on a pushdown? You're supposed to train your whole tricep with that, not just like that would be like trying to say that you get less of a stretch on a row on your lats. It's like you're trying to hit the upper back with that. Why would you, like, does it make sense? Not really. So B-bar pushdowns for me are literally the best pushdown variation you can do, and I highly recommend you doing them, 6 to 10. Then we have seated dumbbell curls, 3 to 4 sets of 4 to 8. This is what I mean by low rep curling, and I have found out it's way more fun, because what I would usually find is that I would get bored and I would finish sets beforehand, just because I would get bored of curling and curling and curling, even if I was trying to make it as hard as humanly possible. So I just opted to go heavy, grind that shit out, and I found out it allows me to progress really fucking well, and I actually get excited to do curls. So yeah, that's pretty good. Then the second superset is going to be B-bar extensions, which I think they are the ultimate cable extension. Again, they have the same benefits of B-bar pushdown. Plus, you get an even better stretch than with rope extensions. I am not shitting you. So really recommend you trying that out. Then we have, well, Scott machine curls. It's preacher curls with a cable, if that makes sense. 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 12. Nothing too much to talk about here. Leg raises, inverted rows, but these inverted rows are not, let's just say, regular inverted rows. You actually do a face pull, if you will, like you roll to your face or to your forehead. That's how you want to do these, and they are basically a rear delt destructor. At least I myself feel it a lot in the rear delt and in the side delt as well. And then we have a triceps finisher. So if I were to use an analogy, think of it as the B-bar pushdowns. Think of it a jar, not with a figurine in it, just an empty jar.
Cheers!
And you want to fill that up with rocks, right? So you have a big rock, which is going to be the B-bar pushdowns, in which you go pretty heavy. Then you have the medium-sized rocks, right, in which you go a little bit lighter, like the B-bar extensions. And then to fill the rest up, you would use pebbles or grains of sand, right? Well, the finisher is just that. It's the grains of sand. I think this analogy is from basement bodybuilding, which I think is pretty smart. But yeah, basically finishers allow you to squeeze those little extra drops of gains you might have been missing if you were not to do a finisher. I think that there's a lot of value in them, but they shouldn't be your main thing. The main thing should be the V-bar pushdowns and the V-bar extensions. And then you squeeze the little bit extra. The reason why finishers work, contrary to what NH, for example, would say, is that finishers work due to the fact that as the session goes by, your capacity to exert force with heavy weights goes down. Your reps should be increased as the session goes by. And when you reach to the point of a finisher, you basically are only able to do high reps and to feel the burn. If you were to do it backwards, it would not work nearly as well. So finishers have a lot of value. I do dumbbell extensions and then I drop set into close grip push-ups. That's basically it. 1 to 3 sets of as many reps as possible. Then we move on to the second upper day. There's not a lot of change here, just I added ring dips, which I previously mentioned, and I have half L-sit chin-ups and half ring chin-ups, because ring chin-ups also stretch the lats like crazy. Yes, even if you go into a dead hang position, so I recommend you really trying them out. L-sit chin-ups are also goated as fuck. Then for the second row day, we have, T-bar rows, which are amazing for the traps, and I do a similar giant set to the barbell hinge rows, in which I do my shrugs. I do strict shrugs, cheated shrugs, and then I maintain for time. The only difference is that with the T-bar rows, fourth motorbike or third, I don't know, someone's counting. For the T-bar rows, I like to lean back and I like to leverage myself to make it more difficult, and I get a nasty stretch in this area right here. So yeah, that's pretty good. Hammer curls, the rest is basically the same. Instead of strict barbell rows, I have Helms rows here, but overall it's the same than the other day. Then I have my arms at the home gym, which you already know. I do my band extensions in a unilateral fashion or band pushdown, again, in a unilateral fashion to warm up the elbows and drive some fluid to the area. I then do some pelican curls, 4 to 6 reps, well, some pelican curls. I do 4 sets or 4 to 6 sets of 6 to 15. This movement is one of the best biceps builder you're going to find, so I just do that movement for that specific day. You have to build up the tendon strength, but overall it's an amazing movement. Fifth motorbike. Then we move on to ring extensions with a triple mechanical drop set. I'm not shitting you. Now I do my ring extensions in a pike push-up position because that removes the abs from the equation and it makes it more length and bias. So I really recommend you trying that out. I really enjoy them. And I do a triple mechanical drop set. I start off with my feet on a chair, then my feet on the ground, and then I lean a little bit forward. And then I may even do assisted concentrics, assisted concentrics with just doing the eccentric basically. I do 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 15, and I pair that up also with ring face pulls or Y raises, just to work the rear delts and the side delts. And Gironda chin-ups, this last one is optional. It's just if I want to work my back that specific day. I do all of this in a flowing sets fashion. Basically everything goes together. It's just that if I'm doing a triceps movement, I can't do another tricep movement in the superset. I have to wait until I finish that one. So I can do, for example, band extensions and pelican curls. Once I run out of the band extensions, I do pelican curls and ring extensions. Once I run out of the pelican curls, I do ring extensions and ring face pulls. And once I run out of ring extensions, I do ring face pulls and Gironda chin-ups. So that's basically how I would do it. And then we finish off with the last day, which is going to be rows in the home gym. This is going to be a little bit more interesting, but it's basically the same. I start off with front lever rows in a supinated position, right? And with a medium grip. That allows me to stretch the traps like crazy, like especially the mid-back in a supinated position. And I would usually use an advanced dog position for this specific case. And then I drop set into inverted shrugs because the rings are already at the height that I want. 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 10, and then I do as many reps as possible of the inverted shrugs. I pair that up with ring reverse curls, 3 sets of 15 to 25, I go a little bit high, well, a little bit, I go way higher in these ones because reverse curls usually demand higher reps because they're pretty awkward to do for low reps. So yeah. Then the second superset is going to be inverted rows. Any variation that I want usually is going to be wide grip pronated to really stretch the traps. As many sets as possible. You heard that right. With regards, I made a video about getting yoked with just body weight. When you're training at home and you want to get the same stimulus you would get from doing shrugs with 2 plates on each side, you basically have to compensate by doing way more volume than you would usually do. So I basically don't put a limit on how many sets I want to do. If I want to do 5, I will do 5. If I want to do 10, I will do 10. If I want to do 4, I will do 4. So yeah, with a total of 6 to 15 reps, nothing extra to add here. I pair that up with band neck curls and extensions, 2 to 3 sets of 15 to 25. I don't have heavy enough bands to do the extensions in the 8 to 15, so I just stick to 15 to 25. There's nothing wrong with that, and leg raises. So as you can see, there are a couple of things that I have changed. I have opted for lowering the reps on triceps movements and on biceps as well. I also gave myself more flexibility by incorporating the rows, and also don't underestimate inverted rows. They are one of the best, if not the best, chest supported row variation, and they're going to be here for a while. So I recommend you really focus your efforts into mastering this movement, and let me know in the comments below what you think about the modifications that I made. I think that they're pretty good, especially in the back training department. So let me know. Do you like also the background that I'm using? Let me know as well. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.